If you have a question, please put your name in the chat. We'll start with Ben Portnoy.
Mike, I know you're probably still checking on it, but what's KJ's status at this moment? And I guess where's he kind of at?
Well, we're still checking on it. Probably wouldn't tell you if I knew, so we end up at the same destination with that one. But yeah, I mean, but he's an important part of our team, so we're definitely, we're definitely gonna look after him the best we can.
Up next, we will go to John Sokoloff.
Hey, Mike, I know obviously, you're just coming off the field, so there's no film to watch right now, but I guess basic preliminary, thoughts on the game and everything from tonight.
Well, I thought we played hard. I thought we played sloppy and dumb at times. I think that, Alabama's a team that this has been put together for over a decade. And, they have a culture that's extremely hardworking and competitive that permeates their entire program. We're a program that's trying to get there. What's the good news with us is we've got some very young guys and who will be around for a while. And this is a good starting point for them. Some of them probably wouldn't be starting now were it not, out of necessity. But I think in the end, the reps and the experience are going to pay off. And, and it's kind of like I told these guys, everybody can work harder than they think they can, focus harder than they think they can. Well, Alabama is, through their process, they've learned and discovered that. We've got, we're just getting started here, and we need to discover some of those same things. And I was proud of the way we competed. In the future, I mean, this would not be the standard, but, as far as battling, that sort of thing, I was pleased with that portion of it, but, we certainly have miles to go, so.
Up next, we'll go to Neil Price.
Hey, Coach, your defense was on the field a lot, obviously, in that first half tonight. But Matt and I were talking about it looked like those guys really were giving you effort and competing. How'd you feel about the way that they played before they kind of got stuck out there all night?
Oh, I thought they did pretty good, and really, I think overall defensively, other than some big plays and explosives, I thought they played real well.
What's the toughest thing about trying to mark a guy like Devontae Smith, the wide receiver that had the big night for Bama?
Well, there's a lot of things that impressed me about him. One is as a receiver, he tracks the ball really well, and not all receivers do. I mean, there's a lot of receivers that are good at catching balls if they're right at them. He's good at tracking balls. In other words, kind of center fielder, where the comes off the bat and the guy runs and he's standing right where the thing's going to land. He's got the ability to do that. I think he's obviously an explosive guy. Everybody knew that. But the other thing that I was impressed with is how competitive he is from one snap to the next. He's a very good example to pretty much anybody on our entire team.
Thank you.
Up next, we'll go to Joel Coleman.
Mike, from a number standpoint, whether it's yardage or points or whatever, there may not be much progress seen. But are you seeing things with your eyes over the course of the last week or so, tonight, things that make you think this thing's catching on, that the air raid's catching on, the guys are grasping it? I guess, are you seeing evidence of it from a coach's standpoint that things are kind of turning around?
Well, I think it is. It's slow and tedious. Some of that's, some of that is that it's new. Some of that is, as coaches, we just need to do a better job teaching them and coaching them fast, especially, without much of a camp or spring. And then obviously they're young guys. I mean, the great news on that is they get valuable experience, but there's a price to pay for that. I mean, in a perfect world, some of these guys would redshirt and play in a couple of years. But it's going to pay off, and they're going to be very good, and I think they're competitive, and they're tough enough to stick their nose in there. I didn't think they played scared. We sometimes played sloppy and dumb, but that's experience, and so we gained a portion of it tonight.
Up next, we'll go to Steve Robertson.
Coach, sometimes it seems like you guys have some bad luck with these end zone interceptions, and you've had a couple of them that have been kind of ripped away from receivers. Is that a toughness issue? Is it a strength and conditioning? When that happens, what's the first thing that goes through your mind?
The fact that if we don't lead the nation in this, I don't know how anybody else could. I mean, it's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. And, it's a combination of a lot of things. It's some is bad decisions to throw it. Some is a number of them are not taking care of the football at the receiver position, whether it's tipping it up or getting it torn away. And then others, obviously, bad play calls on my part. And then the other thing is just bad luck. The ball doesn't bounce your way. It's one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. Over the years, I've had the chance to set a lot of records, and I fear to tell you, we might set this one, But it's unbelievable.
Up next, we'll go back to Ben Portnoy.
Mike, on a night like tonight, when you're not necessarily stringing together first downs, what do you do to kind of spark that? What do you see from this team that you can do to maybe build on that a little bit and maybe get this offense at least on schedule a little bit more?
Well, I think, we had a tough time getting in a rhythm. I didn't think the first half in particular, anytime you change quarterbacks, that's going to foul your rhythm up some. And then I didn't think early on we were getting off of the jams and things at receiver, not finishing routes. But once we were contested, we would just sort of freeze up in frustration. And we've got to be a team that deals with frustration instead of embraces it. And sometimes we embrace it. And so, you just have to fight through it. Just fight through when they're rerouting you, things like that, and which I don't think we did a great job of that. But then I thought, we improved as the game went on. And then I thought we improved offensive line-wise this game as far as protection. Still some untimely pressures. And then it's the same old thing. I mean, if we could protect for another half a second, if the quarterback can throw a shade quicker, if the receivers can, get off and stretch their routes quicker. Occasionally, we had some dumb mistakes, which, like I say, I mean, and I keep saying it, but that's, part of the, the process that we're in. New package, new program, and new starters. The vast majority new starters. So. We just have to keep battling, stick together, battle, and overcome it.
Up next, let's go to Tyler Horka.
Mike, you said earlier in the week that KJ and Will were neck and neck. What made you go with KJ, and how would you assess his performance while he was in there?
He had a better week last week. It's, over this week, over the course of this week, he had it wasn't by a huge degree. Not by a huge degree, but we felt like, he'd played, moved the offense just a little better. I do think they're close. And then, of course, Will, if he's not, he should have just finished going to the prom or whatever a few months ago. So I do think he's playing kind of impressive for a guy that just barely got here, because this isn't one of those freshman, all the other stuff, extra year. Hell no. He's he hadn't even made it through his first semester at college, really. And so I do think it's impressive, but we are throwing him to the wolves, and which I have mixed feelings about that. I'm excited about it because that experience is very valuable for him. But there's definitely going to be growing pains, and then you'll look out there and you'll say, why did you do that? And then the other thing is but ultimately it's all my fault because I have to be able to gauge that and say, I got to make sure that I'm selecting things that are very clear cut. But then, and by the same token, it kind of limits the dimension of what you can do. And then, I thought that I thought they were really quite similar as far as the way they played up to this point. And we were starting to move the ball a little, and then KJ was out. So
Up next, we'll go to Joel Coleman.
Kind of a follow-up there to Tyler's question. It'll obviously depend on KJ's health, but going forward, is it going to be kind of a week-to-week deal? Who's the starting quarterback each week, just based on practice?
yeah, pretty much. I mean, we're 100% healthy around here, so not even an ankle sprain. So that's the good thing. But we'll see and we'll gauge it, and you guys will be kind of the second to know after our team.
Let's go back to Steve.
Coach, for the second straight week, it seems like the team kind of gets a little bit of a lift when Will comes in the ball game. And, of course, that's just a layperson's opinion. But what do you see? Does it appear to you that they play a little harder when he's in the game?
I've been kind of trying to look at and gauge that, and then also in practice as well. Will is excited to play, and Will is, also has a certain inner confidence and optimism, and bounces in there. And I do think the way he handles the huddle is definitely an asset for him.
All right, that'll do it for Coach tonight. Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.